108 Base Hospital Uri launched on Colors on Independence Day this month. The show features Gashmeer Mahajani, Fernandes and Nikhil Khurana among a recognizable cast. 4 episodes of this limited series have aired so far, and it's time for my review. Hey, I'm Neolin and welcome to my channel Kyuki Niobi. If you're new here, I would really love for you to hit that subscribe button. So 108 Base Hospital Uri is set against the backdrop of an army base hospital in Uri. And it sees the day-to-day lives of army doctors and, how they deal with the medical cases, how they face the unexpected threats of terror. And also we get to see a look into their personal lives and how that affects their duties and their outlooks on life. We're introduced to Major Anirudh, a man who's basically burdened by guilt because he's held responsible for the death of his brother and sister-in-law, which actually left his niece and nephew orphaned. So he has taken the responsibility of his niece and nephew, but he really struggles to find their approval and their acceptance. And then, of course, he crosses paths with Major Naina Sanyal, his ex-girlfriend, somebody who he was really in love with when they were in college. But they separated because he had a lot of reservations about her, joining the army. And that stems from the fact that his mother is a brigadier in the army. And due to her, being so busy with her responsibilities and her duties, he basically, had this feeling of absence, of not having a mother in his life. So he didn't want that, to happen with him and Naina. So that was basically the cause for them to separate. And if you think they're going to reunite so easily this time, no. Because there's Major Samir Dixit. He's clearly so in love with Naina, but Naina has a lot of, hesitation, and she may have her reasons, of course. We've seen a lot of military shows and films, but 108 Base Hospital Uri really gives you this refreshing perspective, because we don't really get to see an army-based hospital and what it's like. So it really gives you this new perspective, about army and military life, basically. I also like that the medical cases on the show are quite easy to follow through the dialogue. It's quite clear and nice, easy, simple to follow. And also the emotional side, the emotional layers to each of the characters actually make them, more relatable and easy to connect with. Gashmeer Mahajani, of course, playing Major Anirudh, somebody so, filled with guilt, it haunts him. And then, of course, he's now face to face with somebody he once loved. And then, of course, there's this tough guy who has to fulfill his duties. I feel Gashmeer handles all of these layers so well, and it's so good to see him, really invested in the character. It's very evident. Then, of course, Fernandes, it's so good to see her back on television. And I really like seeing her in this avatar because I feel she really handles the demeanor and the terminologies of a doctor really well. She's very, very convincing as a doctor. Nikhil Khurana really brings that heart and that warmth that his character requires. And, because you end up liking his character of Samir so much more, I think, it's going to make this love triangle a little bit more complicated to watch. The entire cast also aids in making this such a good experience. I mean, Hiten Tejwani sir, Smita Bansal ma'am, we can only expect the best from them. And even the younger cast that's part of the show are all amazing too. It's after a long time that I found a show that really keeps you hooked. Whether it's the medical cases that they're solving, you want to see it till the end. How exactly do they resolve, these conditions and these cases that they're presented with? And then, of course, whether it's, them having to face the threats of terror, in the first 4 episodes, they've already dealt with an invasion into the hospital. That was quite interesting too. And of course, there's their personal lives. You really want to know more about these characters. So, there's great writing on the show. Dialogues are great too. And it's just the pace is so well set out. Maybe it's the finite format that's helping in this. But I just really feel that it's really a show that keeps you hooked. Like, you don't even want to move from your seat. You just want to see the episode from start to finish without even, being distracted by anything else. So with a strong concept, an amazing ensemble cast, and plenty of emotional threads to explore, I say 108 Base Hospital Uri is a must-watch. Have you watched 108 Base Hospital Uri yet? If you have, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you haven't yet, do subscribe to the channel.